It is Wednesday night. It's time for Super Geeked Up. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Jeff. I am joined by my co-hosts Nicole and Tanya, and we have the gang from the League of S.T.E.A.M here. We are presented by Frostbite Pictures. Thank you so much for geeking out with us.
Yes, thank you so much, and it is time for our Geek Tweet of the Week, which is, what movie or show would you like to see done as steampunk? Jeff?
Star Trek, The Next Generation, mainly because I want to see Captain Picard with a monocle. That would be awesome, I think. And
He'd be like Monopoly Man.
Yes, he would. That's exactly who it would be, Captain Monopoly Man. And I want to see all the we can take all the phasers into particularly the phaser rifles, the bigger ones, into very steampunk versions of those things. That could be cool. I think Klingons as a steampunk could be a cool mesh as well. That would be interesting to see. So I think a lot of cool things you can do with that.
Cool. Nicole.
Well, this could be kind of obvious, but Harry Potter would be amazing. And I have done a steampunk Luna Lovegood thingy, so
you have. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I think, but seeing Hogwarts itself being run on Steam, would be really cool. And well, you already have the train, so there's that part. But then everything else, would just be really cool, I think.
Very cool. Awesome. How about you, Trip?
I would love to see Daredevil steampunked.
Cool!
Show, and since the love of the city is so central to the story and everybody's trying to save the city and Hell's Kitchen, I would just love to see that, turn of the century industrial revolution time period. And definitely I'd love to see Daredevil himself with some cool gadgets along with the villains would be really awesome.
Very cool.
Such a cool idea.
That actually ties into an answer we had on Facebook from Seth Davis. It's saying Iron Man seems the obvious candidate, so also a Marvel tie-in there as well. How about you, Russell?
I'm thinking Batman, just because the classic comic book Batman of him, where the focus is on him as a detective and not as just a face-punching guy in a bat suit. Just because Sherlock Holmes works so well in that time frame, and this gives with the steampunk twist, it gives you all of his gadgets and gizmos and the Batmobile and so on and so forth. And I just think that the environment and the Batman property would mesh well.
Cool.
Let me jump in with a live tweet we're getting. Speaking of that, hey, tweet us live at Super Geeked Up, #SGU if you're watching. Amy Hoff, @Amy Hoff, says, I want to see Amy L. Hoff, sorry. I want to see the rest of Nicole Awkward Steampunk series progress. What happens next? So there you go. There's a shout out for progress, Nicole.
I'm sorry.
Sorry?
Sorry, it's only 3 episodes. I don't know what to say. I want to know what happens next, too.
How about you, Glenn?
What about Stargate?
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which one? SG1? First one?
The movie to start, and then.
Oh, the movie. All right.
Yeah, and then you can expand into the universe stuff. But I think that just having a desolate wasteland fits well with Egyptology and that whole Egypto-fashion focus stuff, and I think it would work well.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Again from Twitter earlier in the week, Anthony Rossi says James Bond.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome. That's a great choice.
That would be super cool. And Ladies Love Comics says Doctor Who. I feel do they have an episode that's steampunk? Am I just?
Yeah.
They must, right?
I assume
They've
it
done
must.
Doctor Who before.
I don't think you can prove that Doctor Who isn't steampunk.
Yeah, you're right.
You can have to fight tooth and nail either way, I'm sure.
That's true. That's very
They've
true.
definitely done Victorian era episodes, so
Yeah.
that qualifies with the sci-fi.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Kate, what about you?
For no other reason than I like the idea of the Iron Giant being more like a rusty riveted kind of thing could be cool.
Aww.
The Iron Giant. Because that story translates. Yeah.
I think so. Andrew, how about you?
So Russ kind of stole mine. I was gonna say, but I'll get more specific. That specifically, I want a movie adaptation of Gotham by Gaslight, which is one of my favorite Batman books.
Oh, I don't know that one.
It's pretty much already a steampunk take on Batman, where he is tracking down Jack the Ripper in Victorian England.
Oh my gosh,
Oh my
that's
God.
awesome.
I think that would be an amazing movie, and I would much prefer that to more crappy DC movies.
I'm gonna pick up that trade, man. That is awesome. I know about that one.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Am I missing anyone?
Robin,
how about
I
you?
think.
Robin. How about you?
I actually, just because my brain has a tendency to go into the weird, I was actually trying to think of a comedy, and because I've been watching MASH a lot, I kind of thought, wouldn't that be interesting? The gadgets that they would use for surgery, and
That's funny.
vehicles, and the flying, what would be in place of helicopters and nurses in corsets, and
Oh, cool.
tents that they would be living in. So, anyway,
Nice.
I thought
Nice.
And they do a lot of drinking, which seems appropriate.
Yes!
Yeah. It works.
Give it some absinthe, give them that instead, right?
For me, just a similar vein, I actually would do DS9. It'd be really
Ooh.
cool to see that
Oh
space
my
station
god,
steampunk.
my favorite series ever.
Like, that would be really cool. Like, can you imagine Quarks as steampunk? Come
Hell
on.
yeah.
That'd be so cool. So cool. From Facebook earlier in the week, Kyle Murphy says Ghostbusters.
Oh.
That's a brilliant choice.
Yeah. Yeah. There was some really good answers for this. Carlos Ramirez says Knight Rider.
Cool.
And our friends at Craning Cookie says Transformers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, some really good answers.
Yeah.
Nice.
Great job. Some live tweets coming in. Marsha McHale at the Always Geeky says Xena, Warrior Princess, any Disney movie, Steampunk Belle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Kate at Trekkie1000 says, it's great to see Tanya Dodd's back. We have missed you.
I missed you
Absolutely.
guys too.
Yeah, Tanya actually has been off for, I think, a month, actually, almost, right?
Yeah.
From her show. She was shooting something, I don't know, some terrible movie. Some amazing movie called Red. We were joking about it earlier. That's why I said
We were
that.
joking. He's not
Called
just
Red
being a jerk.
Spring. Called Red Spring. You can catch it probably not soon. Actually, they had to edit it, but
Yeah.
in the future.
Give me some time. Give me some time.
But yes, it's great having Tanya back.
Yay, I'm happy I'm back. I tried to tweet. If I saw what time it was on a Wednesday, I tried to tweet in, but sometimes we were shooting.
Yeah, we
so
saw ya. We definitely read them when you tweeted in, I think.
Yay!
Yeah. All right. Well, I definitely want to introduce our really amazing guest, and I'm so excited that they're all able to come on. Minus one, though, because he's sick. But I'm going to start with Trip, and then you guys can introduce yourselves. But Trip is the executive producer of League of S.T.E.A.M, so take it away. Tell us who you are, what you do, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. So, those of you not familiar with our series, we are steampunk paranormal investigators and monster hunters, and we're in the middle of our third season of a web series. We actually got to see these guys at the IEW TV Awards. Congratulations on your award.
And you too.
Thanks so much. We got a nice one for costuming. And basically, if you like zombies, vampires, werewolves, ghosts, the Kraken, I think you would love our series. It's definitely got a Wild West flair to it. And we are comedy adventures, so if you like things like Gravity Falls, Scooby-Doo, Ghostbusters, we're very much in the vein of that. And we actually have a 10-member collective that's all part of the main cast. And we all wear many hats, as many people do in web series. And I'm just going to pass it on down the line. There's 6 of us here, but go for it, Robin.
I'm Robin Blackburn. I play Lady Ameliorette Potts, wife to Cracketus Potts. And actually, in real life, I am also wife to Nick Bauman. I actually I'm on the management team along with Trip as well, and Russ. And I have directed and written and production managed and done just about anything that needs to be done as much as possible.
Yep.
So let's see. Should we go, Russ?
Hi, I'm Russ Eisler. As Robin mentioned, I'm part of the management team, writer, visual effects artist for the show. I also play the twin brothers, Thaddeus and Zed, the zombie manservant.
That's so cute. Every time.
It's great fun. I get to occasionally lurch after people with a glint of malice in my eye. Never get to, really seal the deal, though. But yeah.
Awesome. Who's next, Glenn?
Hey, I'm Glenn Freund. I play Coyote in the web series. I also run the podcast and audio for the web series, as well as art department swing for Kate, our art department lead. Oh, and so many other things, but that's the primary stuff.
Awesome. What about Andrew? What about you?
Hey, so I'm Andrew Fogel. I'm a director and writer on the web series. Yeah, I directed 5 episodes this season. And yeah, I also, with the kind of day-to-day operations of the group, I'm the art and media director, so I deal with a lot of our photography and graphic design kind of stuff.
Cool, and I'm Kate Walsh, and I play Catherine Blackmore, which is one of our undead and zombie hunters, which is awesome. But I also do the production design for the show. Yeah, and that's
awesome.
Very cool.
Do you guys also just want to give a link real quick where people can check you out after Super Geeked Up?
LeagueofS.com.
Awesome.
Nice.
Or League of S.T.E.A.M on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
Everywhere. Some tweets coming in. Alexander Martin says, "I'm late and I have wing sauce everywhere, but I'm here. Welcome back, Tanya."
Did I make you spill your wing sauce? Anyway, I would like to also say that the Proteus got just as excited as I did internally over the word Kraken.
Ah, yes.
I mean, come on. That's awesome.
We do have a fun episode where we actually shot on a replica ship, so it's a tall mast ship, and there is a kraken that attacks the ship, and our lead creature fabricator actually created, I think, about a 17 or 18-foot long kraken tentacle that we could attack everybody with. It was really awesome.
I'm sorry, why is that on the show right now?
I wanted to just add on to what Tripp was saying about our show. In general, just one of the things that we're really passionate about is kind of old school practical effects and doing as much of our filmmaking in camera as possible, and using visual effects to kind of supplement and build out the world, and not just rely on that for everything. So 90% of our creature effects and all of that are practical in camera, people in suits or puppets or things like that. So.
Which is the correct way of doing it, really.
And I did mention we have some amazing episodes coming out. One has a giant rock monster in it that is actually a real full-body rock monster suit. And there's a fun werewolf episode coming up, and we had a really cool swamp monster episode. Yep. Lots of fun stuff.
That's cool.
Next time I'm in LA and you're shooting, can I just be like some creature? In some weird costume? Awesome.
She'd be an awesome creature.
We actually did live shows, so we could have you on a live show being a creature.
There you go.
How's that?
Oh.
Yeah, she's sold. We have some other people excited about your show on Twitter who are watching live. Kate at Trekkie1000 says, "Werewolf and Wild West, say no more, I am watching."
She's going to be excited.
And Kelly's Pool Hall All right, here's a new viewer. Hey, welcome. Watch you guys now. Your series looks amazing. Brava.
Thank you.
Awesome. Cool. And hey, you guys also go to some cons, right? I believe actually I ran into you at San Diego Comic-Con, or some of you last year.
Yeah.
Definitely, we actually have a booth there, and we will be back this year. And we try to go to WonderCon and DragonCon. We've been to VidCon, and tons of steampunk conventions. I think one of our favorites is Wild Wild West Con in Old Tucson, Arizona. It's just a beautiful, amazing place to have a convention.
Awesome. We are doing some super geeked up stuff this San Diego Comic-Con, so we'll have to have you part of that and meet up.
Cool.
Stop by. We'd love to all be in costume for you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just for general information, our San Diego Comic-Con booth number is 5618.
Oh, look at that. All prepared.
So prepared.
Very good.
Oh, yeah.
If you got to use the bathroom and you're at the end of the hall, you'll find us.
Very convenient.
Nice. All right, so I guess we'll head on. We got some cool stuff coming up, guys, on the show. We're going to do trailer trash in a minute. We got a lot of geeky news to talk about. Tomorrowland, Mad Max, T-webfest. Yeah, okay, ooh, like a lot of excitement for that. All right. Speaking of T-webfest, if you happen to see Tanya and Jonathan host Super Geeked Up at T-webfest over the weekend, thank you for watching. I'm glad you're here watching us. We'll talk more about that later. And we're going to share our Star Wars names. We all came up with Star Wars names. This thing Anthony Davis, one of our fans, shared with us. And an ode to Disney. We came up with poems to Disney, which I'm sure will be just as good as our Liam Neeson poems we did a few months ago.
Or our raps, or do we do jingles?
Yes,
We did holiday jingles, yes, we did.
Holiday jingles.
Yeah. Nicole.
I don't know why I come up with this stuff. It's fun though.
All right, so we are going to do some trailer trash. We're going to talk some good trailers, some interesting trailers, some terrible trailers. So I posted all these on our website. If you go to supergeekedup.com/interact, you can see them all there. So if you want to do a little picture-in-picture here, you can maybe watch them as we start to discuss them. Tanya, what's the first one we're going to talk about?
The first one is Batkid Begins. Now,
Batkid!
I will say, for those of you who don't know this story, it is actually very, very touching and very, very lovely and wonderful. There was this little boy in the States who was diagnosed with leukemia, and he was a big, huge superhero fan, particularly Batman. So his whole story is that basically the city of San Francisco shut down and made him Batkid for the day.
And thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation who did that. Huge shout out to them.
Exactly. So they organized this whole thing. I think he had to save like a damsel in distress. He had to stop a bank robbery. He got to drive in the Batmobile, and because he's really little, they had to put a car seat in there so he could drive it. It was adorable. And I remember watching the live feed when it was happening, and it was just so, like, thousands of people came out and were just cheering him on, and it was an amazing thing. So this trailer is about that whole journey with his family and making the request for the wish, and then just going through the whole thing with him in San Francisco, where they literally turned downtown San Fran into Gotham for a day for a kid who's sick, and it's amazing. So, any thoughts? Did anyone get a chance to watch it?
I cried.
Yeah.
How can you not?
It's awesome. The only thing I was bummed about is I wish you, Nicole, and me, Tanya, were the ones who got to create the story for what he got to do as Batman. That's the only thing I'm bummed about.
Yeah. Like, that would be so cool.
I remember when this story was first coming out, when it was covered on the news. And I have to say it's probably the most inspirational story, selfless story of last year. And, I have nothing negative to say about it. I just feel like it's really documentary gold is what these people have with that movie. And I guess what I would wish, although I have no idea what they're planning on doing with it, I mean, I would like them to make their money back, but I really hope that they are planning on giving some of that money to Make-A-Wish Foundation, maybe to pay for that kid's, college tuition, assuming he's well enough to make it that far, But I would love to see some other wishes come true for kids. But that was just an amazing story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I agree.
On Twitter, let me share some tweets people think about Batkid. At Trekkie1000, Kate says, I want to see this. As a nanny, this made me cry, and I love seeing people get their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Honky Dog Buffalo says, the Batkid story restores people's faith in humanity.
Yeah. It really does.
Absolutely.
Any other thoughts on Batkid?
I just think it looks great. Not only is it a really wonderful, touching story, I think it looks like a fantastic film as well.
Yeah.
And he's just so cute in that little costume.
I know.
Really, he's so adorable.
He's a little car seat in the Batmobile. It's just so cute.
I think his costume actually looks better than the adult Batman's costume.
I was wondering if any other city could actually pull that off, though. It's such a small city, realistically, like with a footprint. Like, is there any other city that has the capability of doing that? So it was interesting to see that.
You know what they could do? If any of you guys are familiar with Orange County, there's Old Town Orange, and they've shot a bunch of movies in the Old Town area, so it's possible. I don't think it would be as cool as San Francisco because it has all the amazing city buildings and the skyline. But I think small towns could do it, but I don't think it could be as necessarily as cool as San Francisco, a huge city.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that town because we shoot there all the time. We have friends with a beautiful house that we shoot in there.
Nice. Very cool. I used to live right there, and I used to go to Chapman, so I love that area.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Something that struck me from the trailer, too, and what the last guy just said about saving humanity is, I know they talked about how so many people are holding up signs, save us, Batkid. And I mean, it really does feel like it's one of those stories that's saving us from all the crappy cynicism that you run into in your daily life and on the internet. And it's like, let's have a positive story. Yeah.
I just love that everybody got so involved with it. I mean, the fact that they spent time making signs and, took time out of their normal life to go and support this kid and his dream, and I was just blown away.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So speaking of positive stories, actually we just got a tweet from one of our very, very long-time fans, the Cooties, whose dad unfortunately had been going through cancer, but he just tweeted in, my dad's chemo regimen is done, radiation 3 weeks, but most of the cancer has been eradicated. So that is awesome. Great to hear. Pass on our geeky wishes to your dad.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll move on to our next trailer. 4 trailers to go, guys. Again, you can watch them at supergeekedup.com/interact. Police Story, Lockdown. I did this just for personal reasons because Jackie Chan is one of my favorite people ever. When I was in college, I got very much into the Hong Kong action movie thing. My roommates introduced me to this, and Jackie Chan was one of the big. I just watched a lot of his movies, right? So, Police Story is a whole series of movies. I still say Police Story 2 is probably the best martial arts film I've ever seen. It's just, or at least one of them. Go watch the first 2 Police Stories if you haven't. They're from the 80s, and they're amazing. You will not. It's insane, what he does in those movies. I mean, it's the same what he does in every movie, but particularly back then when he was in his prime, And so this is, I guess, the 7th actually Police Story. It's been a long time.
7?
Yeah, I didn't know. There's actually, I just looked online. There's been 6 of them. I thought there was only 4 before this, but. Yeah, so he's back. It looks like it's a Hong Kong film too, so that's nice to see him back, kind of in that. So this looks very different, I'll be honest with you, than the other Police Stories, the early ones, which were very kind of more comedic and fun, and he often played a goofy character back in those days. This looks very serious and kind of gritty, so a different take on the series. Anyway, I'm just happy to see Jackie Chan back in an action movie like that, like he used to be in. So I'm going to see it. I don't know, any other thoughts? I have no idea if anybody else likes martial arts movies or Hong Kong movies, but
Jackie, nice.
So if you're gonna,
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a genre that I'm always into, but his movement makes it like he brings everything to it. Watching, like, I've very recently watched some montages of just his work on YouTube, and just watching him move and the way he brings kind of like a badass knowledge of the martial arts that's also hysterical at the same time is like the best.
yeah, there's a great channel on YouTube called Every Frame of Painting, which kind of breaks down a whole bunch of interesting filmmakers and all that, and they did an episode that was all focused around the visual comedy of Jackie Chan, and it really kind of highlights just what a brilliant artist he is. So I'm excited to see him in another thing. I kind of wish it was a silly thing, but kind of feels like he's hopping on the like the Liam Neeson train. But you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm an old school Hong Kong movies nerd. Back in the Bay Area in the early '90s, late '80s, there was the UC Theater in Berkeley, and for about 5 years they did a Hong Kong double feature on Thursdays. And it wasn't always a martial arts film. I mean, you got some serious stuff and you got some comedy stuff in there too. But there was almost always a Jackie Chan feature, and I think I managed to see everything he was in between the beginning of his career and about 1994. And
oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a hell of a ride. So, and I have to contend, I think that Drunken Master 2 is possibly the pinnacle of his.
Yes, that's my other favorite one.
So good.
That's an amazing movie. Yes, that and the Police Story, like first two, I would highly recommend both of those. Though all those movies. Cool. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, when I was looking at this trailer, I mean, you know, one of the thoughts that comes to mind is what do great action stars do as they're aging, you know? And it was funny because the first guy that came to mind after I saw Jackie Chan was Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I feel like, you know, Jackie Chan, just from this trailer, is still kicking butt. And I mean, Liam Neeson totally is who came to mind too. It's like, oh my God, it's taken for Asians, but you know, it's all good. And but I mean, for everybody. But you know, I was also thinking about the relevance of Jackie Chan, and you know, I do think in some actors' age, they're not sure what their audience is anymore. And I'm not allowed to talk anything about this screening, but I'm involved in a company that does screenings of movies way before they come out, like test screening stuff. And just on the street, he has so much street cred. There were just people that would would want to go to this screening just because Jackie Chan. I love Jackie Chan. So anyway, kudos to him.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's, how old is he and he's still doing this and he's still able to do this? Like, that's impressive. Like, it doesn't even matter the movie. Like, it's amazing.
Considering he's broken every bone in his body over his career.
I know, right? That's the thing. If you go, folks, if you haven't watched some of the older ones, every film they would always show after the movie, like a bunch of the outtakes, and every one of those times you'll see him breaking like multiple bones usually, and like horrible things that he would, like mistakes in the scenes, and it was just, I don't know, it's crazy, because he did every single thing, you know, he never used a stunt person ever. Until he got, a little older. Like, actually, when he came to the U.S. for Rush Hour, I actually think he said, like, they wouldn't let him do everything. They just refused to let him do everything.
They probably wouldn't insure the movie if he did it.
Yeah. That's quite true.
So always imagine that he's got a cast on some part of his body during any of those films.
That's so crazy. But yeah.
That's
so
probably
funny.
very true. On Twitter, our good friend Jonathan Robbins at the J Robbins says, Police Story, not to be confused with Police Academy, which is also awesome, but not exactly the greatest martial arts film ever.
True.
Very cool.
Way to go,
So-
Robbins.
Any final
hang on.
thoughts?
Yeah, one last tweet, though. Alexander Martin says, can you ask Russell, if you like Gorgeous? I think that is my top 3 Jackie Chan movies.
Oh, yes, I did. However, it's blurring slightly. It's been a while since I've seen it. I mean, a lot of his films I only saw a single time in the theater. Once they started coming out on through video channels with bad dubs, really bad dubs, I kind of stopped watching them. I preferred to watch them in the original, with the subtitle, even if the subtitles were kind of bad. So yeah, I saw it. I like it. It was a long time ago.
All right, cool. And Marsha McHale says, off topic to SGU, but are those World of Warcraft collector's editions I see on your bookshelf?
Yes, they are. I used to be a heavy-duty gamer. I had to quit due to game addiction issues. It was kind of eating my life.
Oh, you and Felicia Day. She was successful off of that. All right, cool. Yeah, Nicole, we got another trailer?
Yes. So third trailer is called Cooties, and it's starring Elijah Wood and Rainn Wilson. It actually was really big at Sundance. It's kind of bizarre. It's a horror comedy kind of about these kids who get sick from the cafeteria food, and they kind of become like zombies, basically, like killer attack zombies, and the teachers have to band together to try and like stop this from happening. And at first, like, when you first see the trailer, I'm like, Elijah Wood's teacher, like, where is this going? It's super weird. You think it's like this like nostalgic, like, oh, this romantic comedy movie, like you're not really sure, and then it goes into like, okay, wait, what is going on? Because you don't really think the kids are going to be like the main focus of it. And then, I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. It's crazy. What do you guys think?
That's why I loved it.
Okay, so
But the fact that they cut to that kid being like, you have cooties, and then it turns out it's actually a zombie, like, come on, that's awesome.
True.
Andrew, did you want to jump in?
Yeah. I just in general, I'm a huge zombie movie fan, and I'm especially a fan of zombie movies that kind of like subvert other genres. So you have things like Shaun of the Dead and Zombieland or Fido, Warm Bodies, like all these movies where they kind of take your expectation of a particular genre and they kind of like throw the zombie element into it and just kind of subvert your expectations for that. So I'm very excited about this. This looks like a lot of fun.
It's definitely different. I've never seen a movie done with like kid zombies, I don't think. Like just specific about kids. Is there something? I've never seen anything.
No, I think it's probably a very brave director that's like, let's have a movie that's about, like, kindergartners. Can we wrangle all of those?
I think the other interesting thing, too, that a lot of zombie movies have done is they actually do make, some kind of social statement about our society, whether it's, like, kind of the metaphor for like consumerism of Dawn of the Dead or something like that. So the fact that it's like the bad cafeteria food, I think, is really kind of a funny commentary on how we treat our kids in our society.
And also things like kid germs, like spreading, like that sort of thing. Like, it was good. I liked it.
I like that the kids are kind of smart too. They're not just brainless zombies. They're pretty brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Feels entirely too realistic.
I think it's a fun idea. I like the twist on it. I personally love those actors. I've got to be honest, I'm not expecting much from the movie, personally, at all. But because people love zombie movies, it will have a huge audience for that group of people that loves those movies. I actually had a friend, I'll just say it's a bad movie, but I had a friend that actually did one that's called Special Dead, where they had people with special needs. They get attacked by zombies. But anyway, I think the kids is a safer route to go.
Yeah.
But I also know, I mean, we've dealt with dealing with kids. I know the challenges of working with kids as far as filmmaking goes. And I can only imagine they had to have actually had like a whole small troupe of teachers on set teaching all those kids and taking all those breaks.
After an 8-hour day.
Logistical nightmare. But kudos to that team for actually being brave and bringing all those kids on board and giving all those kids a fun opportunity. Because when is a kid going to get to be like a zombie with a whole bunch of other kids?
You know, and the other cool thing is that it's like an indie movie. So it's not, I mean, it got picked up by a studio, but it was made outside the studio system, which is pretty cool to see it. Like, as an indie movie getting pretty far. But when you brought up the kid thing, it reminded me, one of my favorite movies is School Rock, and that's, like, entirely of kids. And I was, like, thinking, wow, that would kind of have been a nightmare, probably, like, all the wrangling. But if they could do something great with School Rock, I'm hoping that it could translate like that, too, and have all these really cool kids, you know, kick some butt.
Yeah.
I would love to see a mashup of that in High School Musical, though. That would make
You know what's so funny, though, is one of the co-creators of Glee is one of the creators of Cooties. So it's kind of like, you know, that...
Oh, maybe there'll be a musical number.
Maybe there will.
It's also one of the co-creators of Saw, so I don't know if they ever cut off their own limbs. So...
okay.
Just saying... Anyway,
had to bring us down. Thanks a lot.
I mean, whatever. Honky Dunk Buffalo on Twitter is saying, Cootie looks amazing. Dawn of the Dead meets Daddy Daycare. So awesome.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more trailers to go. So the next one is actually my favorite of all of these. It is called Maggie. Speaking of zombies, this is actually another kind of zombie-esque movie. The star is Arnold Schwarzenegger and Abigail Breslin. It is not a type of Arnold Schwarzenegger movie you might expect, though. This looks like a very, very serious, well-done movie where Abigail Breslin is his daughter, and it looks like whatever zombie or type disease that is spreading throughout the nation, she has it, and it's kind of infecting her, and he's trying to save her. This looks seriously, this looks fucking awesome to me. I so want to see this movie. I wish it was out right now so I could go see it. I don't know. Like, he looks really good in it, and he's actually been getting some rave reviews. Abigail Breslin, I think, is always really awesome. It just looks like, you know what? It's nice to see kind of a different, serious, more mature take, I guess, on a zombie-type movie. And I'm very excited.
Like, what is her deal? Like, why it's just her in quarantine?
No,
I'm really curious.
It's not just her.
It's not just her.
At some point, you see her like kissing a boy who seems like he's got the infection too.
Got it. Okay. Well, I mean, obviously there's something special about her because it's about her, right? So I'm just curious, like, why he goes to such extreme lengths to keep her from quarantine. Isn't that what he's kind of doing? Arnold Schwarzenegger's character?
Well, I think he's trying to cure her.
I think it's as her dad. I think he's trying to make sure that, he tries to find something to help her and protect her.
Okay.
Once she's in quarantine, I think the idea is that's it. You know, they're full out zombie or whatever, and they're done.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I guess I got a little confused. I think maybe it flashed back, and I just wasn't following the timeline. Or I'm just retarded. I'm not quite sure. But I just wasn't sure what was going on.
You were just expecting the Terminator to appear at some point, and you're like, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
so
Terminator.
When's he going to say hasta la vista?
Melt into metal or something.
That's what he'll say when he puts her in quarantine.
Oh, ouch. Ouch.
All right, guys, what do you guys, League of S.T.E.A.M, what do you guys think?
Super excited about it. I don't know. I'm excited to see Arnold acting again after being the governor for a while, and just anything he's in, I'm just excited to see. And to see him in a dramatic zombie where he's still kicking ass, but for his zombie daughter, I'm in. I'm sold.
This might be his best dramatic role since Kindergarten Cop. But seriously, I heard about this from a friend over the weekend, and I was when he told me it was like a serious take and it was a dramatic role for Arnie. I had a moment of complete disbelief until I watched the trailer, and then I'm sold. I'm there for this.
I kind of feel like he is an actor since he He's no longer governor, but he's been trying to find his footing, and unfortunately, a lot of his films immediately after were flops. And this is actually the first time that I've seen him in a role that I feel really good and proud for him, because I do think he's a very good actor. And I feel bad saying this, though. I think his strength is not necessarily in his delivery of lines, but in his presence. And that's what I was getting from the trailer, at least. I'm just like, you know what? If he just lives out these moments like that, and as the protective father, he is going to just, do an amazing job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope he doesn't come out with any one-liners or anything. I hope it's just him dealing with it as a dad, and it looks very moving. And Abigail Breslin is such a great actress, and I think it was a very brave thing to team them up, but I'm glad they did.
I feel bad saying this, but I think I'm more excited for this movie than I am for Terminator Genesis.
It's okay.
No, you should say that. That movie looks terrible.
I say that as a huge Terminator fan.
So am I, but I wish they never made that movie. It looks horrible.
It's okay. We're in good company. Yeah.
Yes, please keep saying that as much as you want. Please post it all over the place. All right, cool. So it looks like everybody's on board with Maggie. I have no idea when it comes out either. I think it's just coming soon, so I don't know if it's going to be a limited release or what. I don't know.
I think it premiered at TIFF, and I don't know what happened to it after that. So I know TIFF went gaga over it.
Yeah, I did briefly, and I'm not sure if it's 100% correct, but I think it may have actually gone through its limited release. And maybe available next on, on whatever platform it is, VOD.
Really? But it just came out on Hulu or the trailers recently.
Okay, and probably, you know what? I may have read an older article because it was originally supposed to come out like at 1. Wasn't it originally supposed to come out? I might be getting things messed up.
All right, well, it's coming somewhere.
It's coming somewhere. Yeah.
I don't know if that's home or movies, but you can see it somewhere.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Speaking of movies that really, tug at your heartstrings and really make you question, like, the bigger things in life, like, why are we here? What would happen if we suddenly dug a mine and discovered that maybe dinosaurs existed in that mine? And we were cowboys. What would happen if that happened? And that is really what sort of goes into our next trailer, called Cowboys versus Dinosaurs, which has some very great special effects. And I think the story's really strong. I almost got through with a straight face. So our next trailer is interesting, is the word, really. Basically, they mine, dinosaurs come out and attack them, and they have to cowboy up to stop them.
Yeah, what is that? They're not even really cowboys. They just like become cowboys or something.
They're in a western type town, so they're obviously cowboys, and they have cowboy hats on.
Just to clarify,
they had for free, okay? It was a free location, and somebody had some dinosaur action figures, and then they put in the special effects over them later. I don't know.
Yeah, just to clarify, this is contemporary Cowboys. This is not Old West Clint Eastwood Cowboys. Like, that I would be legitimately excited about, even if it was super shitty. But
we don't like
Cowboys is a little bit of a stretch.
We don't like the country rhinestone Cowboys as much.
Yeah.
Old school.
This is the only trailer I actually found this trailer. It's the only one I've ever seen where I actually went online after watching it and typed in, does Cowboys versus Dinosaurs, is that a real movie? I actually typed that into Google because I didn't believe this was actually a movie that existed after watching this trailer, but it is.
So it's like a sci-fi original masterpiece.
But even worse, way worse.
Worse. It's not even in the caliber of ridiculousness as Sharknado. At least I think Sharknado knew what it was. I'm not sure if Cowboy versus Dinosaurs knows what it is. Just saying.
Yep, that's fair.
So just so people know, this is the same town that Broken Arrow and A River Runs Through It was shot.
Really?
Well,
Oh, that's got some good pedigree then.
I was gonna say it's got some strong pedigree. This is why I think it really answers some big questions of the world about what happens when dinosaurs come out of a mine alive.
That's a great trivia question too about this town and those three movies. What do these three movies have in common? By the way, Kate at Trek 1000 says, I love dinosaur movies, even stupid, cheesy-looking ones. All right, so they got one viewer.
Okay.
Look, it looks like it's going to be a great movie to do shots to, honestly.
Yeah.
Every time you see a dinosaur or you hear someone saying, like, saddle up, cowboy, it's like, shot. Because I'm sure they're going to say something cheesy, westerny a lot.
They said cowboy up.
That's what I thought they did. Yeah.
So
Anytime you see a fake muzzle flare, you take a shot.
The biggest draw for this was that one of the actors in it is Vernon Wells, who played Wes in the original Road Warrior.
Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, there's a lot of people that actually you recognize. Like, they aren't huge. But you're like, oh, they just must have, I don't know. Thought,
So that's
why
what they're
not?
doing money these days.
Our producer did a very good job of lying.
I know exactly how these kind of movies are, though, because I worked on a movie called Attack of the 50-Foot Cheerleader for Roger Corman. And they a couple of the main actors in it were Treat Williams and Sean Young. So that was interesting.
On Twitter, @thepuka says, Cowboys versus Dinosaurs makes me long for the deep story and great acting of Cowboys versus Aliens.
Oh.
Like that.
All right, so obviously we ended with the best one.
Yes.
Yes,
Definitely.
it's awful.
For sure.
We should totally do. You know what we should do? We should do like a live tweet session where we and like our fans just watch it like all together and tweet about it.
Yeah.
We can do the
absolutely.
drinking game while we do that.
Mhm.
Yes.
Jeff will take a shot of milk every
Right.
time.
Because I don't drink, so I'll just drink milk every time.
Yes. I like it.
That's a good game then. I approve that game.
Next week's show, everyone.
All right. Having so much fun. Forgot to take a commercial break. We should do that. If you are watching the recorded version on YouTube, you're going to see a quick commercial right now. We'll see you back in a second.
Welcome back from commercial break. I'm just kidding. Russell's like, what is going on right now? Well, you're watching Geeked Up. We're here with the gang from League of S.T.E.A.M, and we are actually just about to talk some geeky news.
Yes, we are. I was hoping you were dinosaurs in that back
Oh,
break.
shoot. Let's go. Okay, I don't know.
No, wait, what was that? A Dracula dinosaur? What were you doing?
I don't know. I didn't have enough time to think about it. Just put it on the spot, Jeff.
Dino Dracula? Anyway.
That's a sci-fi movie right there.
Right there.
I like
We can
it.
make millions.
Let's not.
I'm actually really digging this idea, Tanya.
We could write this in like a night.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Food for thought. This might happen.
In other news, aside from future producing projects for Nicole and I, Mad Max, Fury Road. I'm gonna drop the F-bomb now. Holy fuck. Like, okay, I know some people are like, oh, you know, whatever, there's not a lot of plot. I get it. Yes, it's basically one big car chase. Yes, there's a point they probably could have stopped making the movie. But what it did for, I mean, A, it's beautiful. It's lovely. What it shows with women on film is insane and wonderful. I'm going to do a slight spoiler. Mad Max is not the main character. Charlize Theron's character is the main character. She's the one that drives the action entirely. The women save themselves at different points, and at one point there are 80-year-old women wielding shotguns saving the day.
That's pretty cool.
That's badass.
You know what's so funny though? When we did a segment of Mad Max on Trailer Trash, we didn't see any of this in the trailer. It just looked like, okay, this is beautiful, but it's probably gonna be stupid, just because there wasn't a lot going on. So they basically were they didn't want to spoil that. I guess they were trying to keep it kind of a secret, is what it seems like. Cool.
Yeah. Honestly, her character, there's so many times that Tom Hardy's character defers to her and you got this. Awesome. I'm just going to keep driving. Is amazing. He's literally just along for the ride. It's great.
Mm-hmm. And they don't make a deal of it.
No.
Nobody blinks. This is the first time in a very long time, if ever, we've seen this where it's it's not, she just is. She's the Imperator Furiosa, and she's gotten to this status and nobody blinks about it, and then he doesn't blink about handing over control to her at all. It's not it's not the Black Widow. It's not one unusual badass woman. Emphasis on unusual, because clearly women can't be as badass, surrounded by a whole bunch of dudes. It's he's the dude surrounded by a whole bunch of really awesome women who all have names and super individual characters and personalities, and my life goal has now become to be that lady on the motorcycle. And I don't know if you can see the lady with the seeds, but there's the one shot of her in the dark with her motorcycle. The motorcycle is all carpeted. It's a giant carpet bag. I want it. I need it. That's my future. I don't like motorcycles, but I'm probably going to buy one and carpet it.
Nice. I like that.
I will, just because Marcia McHale brought this up, and a personal experience with men's rights activists, they're losing their shit over this movie because they saw the trailer and thought it was going to be a macho guy movie, and then it's not at all.
Well, it's interesting to see this one, and I'm super excited to see interviews with Miller later, because the first 3 Mad Max movies all have this I've always loved the Mad Max movies to varying degrees of goodness, just because they're super fun, and I love the post-apocalypticness of everything, but they have always also made me super uncomfortable as a woman, because they just rape the shit out of people in those movies, and it's not great, and it's very uncomfortable, and it's I wish I could just edit these so that I didn't have to see those parts. There's a way to do things where it's not so obvious and kind of damaging to the viewers. So to see him go from those 3 movies, which I have big problems with for those reasons but still love, to this, which was just what have you been doing for the past 20 years? You've clearly been reading some books, and I'm really interested. I'm really interested to hear his take on what he's been thinking about since then.
Directing kids movies.
Yeah. Babe and Happy Feet maybe kind of altered his perspective on the
Babe
world.
is the best movie ever, okay?
He has been actually responding to some of the critics online. Someone said something, whoever wrote and directed this thing had never seen the first 3 movies. He wrote, and he was just I'm pretty sure that I read them and I saw them many times.
I think something important, though, is that we're watching this whole thing happen from Max's perspective, so I think that people saying that it's not a Mad Max movie is totally inaccurate. You're viewing it from Max. He is your protagonist that is taking you through the story as you watch him cascade through insanity, but it's still, I think that because it's his perspective is really what helps sell the whole element too. Mm-hmm. Just because he's not shooting guns, he lost half his fucking blood, for God's sake. Just give him a break.
True.
Nice.
Well, he's always been the person we've seen it through for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I think people forget that. See, I think they forget that because they're enraged about other things, but he's always been us. We've always seen the world through him, which is good, and it's nice to see it still encompass that, even if we are trapped behind a mask for half of the movie.
Yeah, I really see that the Mad Max character is what he's doing is he's taking us to different parts of this world, and is the conduit for the story to be unveiled. So it's it's not his story. It's he's there to show us his story. So
Almost to bear witness to what's happening in the world.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I love most about this movie is that just the world building is so rich. And this is what I love about like Lord of the Rings and Dune and all those kind of series where the world just feels so expansive and realized, is that they will make reference to something or show you something for like a split second and like not explain it, not ever give you any kind of reason for why that exists or what they're doing there. It's like, oh, all right, we're driving through this swamp area and there's like these guys walking around on stilts, and it's like, okay, that's a thing, and we're not going to talk about it or show you more about it, but those little like snippets here and there just kind of make it feel real, because you can't, if you could explain every single thing in the world of a movie, it wouldn't feel like a real situation. So
Yeah.
That's what I'm most impressed with.
And I love that they built all of the cars. Like, all the cars are actual, like, they built those things and drove them.
All those stunts at like 80 miles an hour, like for real, in the middle of the desert.
There's a great story about the guitar where the prop guy built the guitar, and George was like, "Cool, it looks great. Does it play? What? Make it play." Went back and made it. Sent it back. Okay, does it shoot fire? Make it shoot fire now. Sent it back. Got it back. Doesn't sound very good. Make it again so it sounds good. And just like back and forth. So it's a real fucking ripping guitar.
Made of primarily bedpans, apparently.
Well, that guy who played the Doof Warrior was actually playing the guitar, and there were actually drummers as they're like ripping through the desert, like that. In the same way that that's supposed to, like amp everybody up to, go to war. Like that's what was amping the production up to do this crazy shit.
I definitely dig the Doof Wagon and the Doof Warrior over a fife and drum corps.
Agreed.
What's the meme that's going around right now? Don't be a bard, they say. It's boring, they said. And it's a picture of the Doof Warrior.
So good.
I just want to mention, I haven't participated in it, but a bunch of members of our group go to something called Wasteland. I don't know if you guys want to mention anything about going to Wasteland.
Yeah, so in case you haven't heard of it, there's this really awesome 4-day post-apocalyptic event called Wasteland Weekend out in at the end of September out in the middle of the California desert, which is this crazy immersive experience. Of probably last year when we went, there were probably about 1,500 people, and when you're there, everybody has to be in costume the entire time. And they build like this whole crazy encampment that looks it's very reminiscent of the encampment from the Road Warrior, with all the big like tire walls and stuff. And then people bring out these post-apocalyptic cars that are either replica cars from the movie or completely original post-apocalyptic creations. And it's this insane party that goes on for 4 days in the total middle of nowhere with a whole bunch of crazy people. And it is the most fun. It's just a crazy immersive experience where you get to really live in that world. But my favorite thing about it is that like everybody's there, and they, you see these giant monster trucks with spikes and saw blades and machine guns all over it, and these beefy dudes in giant armor with spikes and mohawks and everything, and they are the nicest people. Everybody there looks so scary and intimidating, but everybody's just like there to have a good time, and it's kind of this big crazy family where everybody's just supporting your creativity. It's like, oh, what's that crazy thing you made? Oh, that's awesome. Let me show you my crazy thing that I made. And you can barter for things, for goods and services. Yeah, it's fantastic. If you guys get a chance, I highly recommend checking out one weekend.
The first year that it happened, there was somebody brought a car out, not part of the event, but somebody brought a car out to the desert to light on fire and just ditch. And the camp next to us was all Air Force firefighters, so they all took off in their crazy cars and put out the fire before the fire department showed up. They all showed up like, wait, I thought there was a fire out here. Like, oh, we already took care of it. We got to go back and drink some more.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
And we actually had a cool experience watching Mad Max for our second time, which was all the Wasteland weekend people who are local to Southern California all got together and went to a drive-in movie theater and brought out a whole bunch of cars, and everybody dressed up in the costumes. So we watched it on the big screen outside, which was really fun.
Very cool.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. That was my first time seeing the film.
It beats 3D.
That's neat.
With a stick, yes. Stick with barbed wire wrapped around it.
Nice.
All right. Plenty of support on Twitter as well for Mad Max. So before this, I had no interest to see this movie. Thought it looked horrible, but after hearing this, I want to see it now. So good job, guys. You convinced me.
Go see it.
I will. All right. So I guess we'll switch to the other movie that came out actually this past weekend, Tomorrowland. And actually, we're going to tie that into a little Disneyland celebration after that. So I guess Russell and I are the only ones who've seen it, so we'll chat a little bit about it. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, actually, Russell. So I absolutely love this movie. Oh, also a quick setup. So technically, it's based off of Disney World and Disneyland's Tomorrowland attraction. You know, I actually read that. So Damien Lindelof? Is that how you say his name? Right? Damon. Thank you. So he actually just one day, I guess, called up Disney and actually said, like, does anyone have the rights to Tomorrowland? I want to do something with it. And that's like how it came about. And then he and Brad Bird got together and basically made it. So this, yeah, I love this movie. Like, this is the kind of movie I want to see more, particularly for, like, sci-fi type movies. I've been kind of actually, like, recently thinking, like, I've been kind of bummed about the movies I see coming out. There's a lot, I think, not fresh ideas. I mean, it's probably not news to a lot of people, but I don't know. I usually don't feel that way, but I have recently. So this movie really, like, I felt restored my faith in movie making and what films can do. And I think it's great storytelling. It's really good, smart science fiction. There's awesome actors in this. I think, kind of like what you guys are saying, I actually also think there are really good female roles, and actually young female roles that are good role models in this movie. Britt Robertson, she's actually the lead of this movie. She's really smart, great character to look up to. There's this 10-year-old called Raffi Cassidy who is amazing in this movie. I'm not going to tell you who she plays because I don't want to give anything away, but I can't believe this kid is like this good in this movie. Like, you got to go see her. She's awesome. Oh yeah, Clooney's great too, of course. But whatever, you know, he's always good. So yeah, I don't know. You know what? And I think this movie really is about, like, kind of restoring faith in the future. Brad Bird and Lindelof both kind of said, like, they feel like recently, like, it's all like doom and gloom about the future, and like we don't feel like anything's going to be good or we can change it because then it's not the way when they grew up it was. So this kind of movie, I think, was a bit of a response, they said, to that. So yeah, so I thought it was amazing. Russell, what did you? I'm curious to think what you thought.
I'm about 90% in agreement with you. I thought this was, Brad Bird firing on all cylinders. Are we spoilering or no spoilering?
Just please. Okay. They want no spoilers.
All right, no spoilers. Okay. I'm at a point where I'm a little tired of George Clooney. I thought that he really, another actor could have done the role and been a little more believable because he's just a little too smug, kind of impressed with himself when he performs. That's just my opinion. I love the scenery of Tomorrowland. I love the concept. I was surprised by some of these about what Tomorrowland actually was. However, I had a problem with the sort of big reveal at the end. It was same problem I have with other films, and not really a spoiler unless, well, this might be a spoiler for Andrew on account of his encyclopedic knowledge of film.
Okay, cover yours, Andrew, for a second.
Yeah, but the problem I had with the ending of Tomorrowland is the same problem I had with They Live. I'm gonna leave it at that. Just if you've seen both films, analyze what the common thread is, and I just have a problem with that concept. So, all right.
Okay. Andrew, Kate, you're all good. All right.
Thank you.
Cover your ears.
I am actually really excited to see this movie. Space Mountain is like my favorite ride ever. So I do love Tomorrowland a lot. And seeing the first trailers, I love not knowing about movies before I go into them. Like I usually watch the trailers and stuff, and I get really annoyed these days when trailers show too much. So I was really excited about the first couple of teasers for this because it was just a little inkling of like, I was like, okay, I can do that. A little bit of space, weird pin thing. I want to own that pin. And then one of the most recent movies we went to go see had the newest trailer in front of it, and it went from just like not telling you anything to, and I'm still really excited to see it, but I also kind of feel like I got slapped in the face with a wet fish, because I was like, okay, cool, Tomorrowland's the kind of thing we'd seen before, and then all of a sudden I was like, what the hell is happening? Things started to move really fast. There's a tub. It goes through a wall. People are trying to kill people. I was just like, and the trailer ended. I was just sitting there like, I don't even know what just happened right now. I'm still really excited, but man, that was a lot in like 30 seconds.
It was. I actually do think the trailers were cool though, and not because what happens in the movie is not like from the trailers they did not ruin anything for me. Like it doesn't like not what you might expect is going to happen. So they did a good job with that. Yeah. Which is great. And Brad Bird, man, Brad Bird makes good freaking films. That guy is a good damn filmmaker.
He's amazing.
He's an automatic watch for me.
Oh, awesome. That's nice to hear.
I'm really glad to hear good things about it. I mean, I have to admit I've only been hearing, that it's not that great. So you guys have definitely piqued my interest in seeing it.
Oh, well, that's nice to hear. So Jonathan Robbins, who I usually love, but he couldn't stand the movie on Twitter, so he's no longer one of my best friends. Get out of here, Jonathan. I'm just kidding. I still love you. You're great. So he did not like it at all, but other people on Twitter did. Marsha McHale, or they're looking excited for it. Marsha McHale says, I cannot wait to see Tomorrowland. It looks fabulous. She also says Space Mountain makes a cameo in the movie.
Nice.
Also, by the way, it's kind of cool actually that this does not ruin anything. It starts at the 1964 World's Fair, where actually it's a small world, and the Carousel of Progress from Disney actually debuted before they moved to the Disneyland parks. And you will hear It's a Small World song briefly. Hopefully that will not. It did not get stuck in my head, though. I was successful in not letting that happen. At her weirdness says, I've seen Tomorrowland and I thought Raffi Cassidy kicked butt. Yes, she did. She is awesome in this movie.
Oh, fun fact. I don't know if everyone knows. Well, I think I told you guys before the show started, but not during the show, that I used to work at Space Mountain. So I think this in the Tomorrowland area in Disneyland. So I'm excited to see this film and see the connection, and I'll probably get like really overly excited about the Space Mountain cameo, I'm sure.
Cool. Oh, so now Jonathan tweets in his biggest problem with Tomorrowland was it felt like a Disney commercial. Pirates of the Caribbean never did that. That's interesting. I actually didn't think that for once. I actually thought it was great that it did not feel like really much to do with Tomorrowland at all. It actually was its totally own original movie. That's why I liked it so much, and why I think the problem with a lot of movies are they don't feel fresh and original to me.
I had the same concern going in that it was just going to be one big park commercial, and it's so different from the Tomorrowland in Disneyland, except for one sequence. There's one sequence that's very obviously a little nod at the theming of the current Disneyland Tomorrowland, but that's pretty much as far as they went, and it was brief.
But that's exciting to me, because working in Tomorrowland, when I went, I'd always think about, like, what inspired them to make this, and you just kind of have, like, thoughts going through your head, like, what would happen in the future? Like, I don't know, I think it's a very interesting themed land to begin with, and kind of it piques your like imagination. So I'm curious to see like how they went with it and what the hell this pin is about. I don't have this pin.
Find out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually,
go ahead.
should we go to the next thing because it ties in?
Oh yes, the only thing I'll just leave you with is, folks, the only movie I think I'm going to like better this year is Star Wars, so that is a super high recommendation for me. That's how much I like Tomorrowland.
Wow.
Nice. Very cool. Huh. Well, tying in Tomorrowland to our next piece of news is actually, I feel like they timed the release to be in correlation with the 60th anniversary of Disneyland, and to kick things off for the 60th anniversary, they had a 24-hour day where Disneyland was open for 24 hours, and I don't know, like a bajillion people went, and it was super cool. And it seemed like even though I'm sure the lines were long and I'm sure rides broke down, it didn't seem like anyone was really complaining too much about it from what I was kind of hearing. And I mean, I would see some of my old castmates online kind of like, we're open for 24 hours and talking about their experiences and stuff. But I mean, it seemed like everyone had a good time.
I think they learned a lot from the first time they did it, because the first time they did it, at around 4 a.m., it looked like the zombie apocalypse happened. They ran out of food. There was liquor bottles floating down. It's a small world. Like any flat surface, there were people sleeping. Like inside the castle, I'd go up the staircase. There's just people huddled in the corner sleeping.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
So I think they learned a lot from the first time.
That's cool. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm excited to get down there and see all the new stuff that they've added into the rides. Like the Hatbox Ghost is back in the Haunted Mansion. There's new Abominable Snowman stuff in the Matterhorn.
Nice.
We've done some improvements to the Peter Pan ride. So yeah,
I love Peter Pan. That's like my favorite ride there.
It's not open yet.
The crazy earthquake stopped us from seeing so much. Oh man.
and I hear they have a really cool new parade too.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, Glenn, you did something with that, didn't you?
I did. I worked on 5 of the characters in the parade. The 4 fairies that lead the parade. The Rosetta, Iridescent, and Silver Mist, I guess, are their names.
Yeah.
Rapunzel and her crazy wig. Jessie from Toy Story, and the ice dancers in front of the Frozen Float, which is an amazing piece of technology. There's some amazing technology in this parade.
Gosh,
it's phenomenal.
That's so cool.
There's some great video online of some like HD stuff of the whole parade going by. It's like 20-minute parade, but there's some awesome stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Nicole, you need to do a little Super Geeked Up video when you go.
Yeah.
Well, you know, here's the thing is, I don't know if I can afford to go anytime soon, but...
Okay, Kickstarter right now, everybody, for Disneyland.
But you live, like, next door.
I know. I used to have
Can you be employed there for one day just so you can go? One more...
Yeah, right, I know.
Just go into a shift.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, anyone?
All right, well, if you do go, do some video.
Absolutely, definitely.
None of your old cast member friends can sign you in? Come on.
You know, I bet they could. I just don't like asking because I know it's a hassle, and like I didn't like being asked by people. Like it was frustrating to me, so I don't like to do that on other people.
And plus now we've broadcasted that you're going to
Yeah, exactly. We just told everybody you planned.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Anyway, if you're listening, Disney, that's not happening.
No, I mean, honestly, like you would have to go with the policy is if someone were to sign me, they would have to escort me around like the whole time.
Oh, jeez.
Like you have to be with the people that sign you. Technically speaking, that's the policy. So I mean, you know, saying like I know people that work there, but I'm not gonna do that. I know people who would that came out of the woodwork, so I started working there. Can you sign me in? I was like, no, who are you? Like, what? No, this is like for myself and my family that I take to Disneyland. You know.
Jeez, Nicole, Tanya, I only asked you like 5 times to do that. What the hell?
Never asked me. You're crazy.
I had to complain about an earthquake to get a free pass, Nicole. Earthquake.
All right. Well, if you're watching, send in some ideas for how we can sneak Nicole into.
Trojan horse.
On top of the parade, though, they do a whole projection mapping thing with the Main Street, the mountain, the Matterhorn, the castle. Oh, guys, it's phenomenal. The projection mapping is just stunning. So if you have a chance to get down there, don't leave when the parade's over. Stay for the fireworks because it's pretty cool.
Cool.
That's awesome. Hey, we got one donor already, Nicole. Kate at Trek 1000 says, if Nicole takes a video of the parade, I will help pay for her to get in.
Oh, okay.
All right, we got one. There's going to be three more. All right, Tanya, you want to talk a little bit about T-webfest? And after, by the way, we're going to do Star Wars names, guys. We all got cool Star Wars names to share with you. And we're going to do some Disney poems.
Yes, so T-webfest was this weekend, and we did Super Geeked Up on Sunday with the excellent Jonathan Robbins. Despite what Jeff Burns is currently saying about him, he's actually a really good guy.
He's an amazing guy, yes, except for his opinion on movies.
Yeah, we did Super Geeked Up live on Sunday afternoon at the Hot Dogs Theater here in Toronto during.
I thought you said hot dog at first.
Hot dogs. Ducks.
Hot dog right now.
I know, now I'm really hungry. Yeah, so we had a fun crowd there, full of web series people, and played some great geeky games. We took a photo for our friends at Geek Fuel, gave out some prizes. It was a lot of fun. We enjoyed ourselves, which is good.
Cool. We'll share some of those pics online too this week.
Yeah. Well,
and I hear the fest was over. It was a lot of awesome stuff going on there. A lot of great panels.
There was a lot of great stuff there. I think it was a smashing success. It's the second year that they have done it, and it's actually the I guess our anniversary of doing Super Geeked Up live at events. We did it first there last year, and since then I've obviously done a whole bunch since. So
Yeah.
they were quite happy to have us on again for this year.
Woohoo!
Awesome. It'll be an annual event.
Mhm.
Right. So we got some tweets coming in here. Marcia says, Nicole, we need to hang out at Disney together. I practically live there. She does go all the time.
Yeah, nice.
And Honky Tonk Buffalo has a plan. Put Nicole in an Alice in Wonderland costume and tell the park she's there to greet the guests.
I was just thinking that. I was like, I actually auditioned once for Alice. I mean, I didn't get very far in the audition process, but it was fun. It was cool. And some people are like, yeah, you would just like her. I get that a lot. I'm like, okay.
All right. That's a solid plan.
Yep.
All right, it is time to, we like to do a thing, I don't know, just kind of kooky things that people send us. Anthony Davis sent us this Star Wars name generator thing. You can go to supergeekedup.com/interact. It's just go below the trailers and you'll find that post and you can do this yourself. I think a bunch of people already shared. Actually, maybe time you can swing on over to the Facebook to try to grab some of those if you haven't, some of the people.
Let me see if I can find some.
But let's share ours. So, actually, you know what, or I could just tell people how you do it because I have it up right now.
Yeah.
So if you're watching, but grab some of the names if you can. Here's how you make your Star Wars name, folks. You take the first 3 letters of your last name. You add the first 2 letters of your first name. Okay, that's your first Star Wars. That's your full first name in Star Wars now, okay? Then for your last name for Star Wars, you take the first 2 letters of your mother's maiden name and add the first 3 letters of the city in which you were born. That is how you do
I
it.
think you're saying that wrong, Jeff.
No,
you're not.
Well,
No, you're not. I'm sorry.
If I can no longer read because I'm reading right off.
I'm sorry. I was reading something different. Never mind. You're good.
All right.
Sorry.
So mine is really freaking ridiculous sounding. It's Burj Halb,
Nice.
which does sound very Star Wars-esque, though. I will say that.
Yes.
Nicole, what's yours?
Mine is Rini Ornu.
I like yours.
Yeah, yours is cute.
Cool. I like
Yours
it.
fits you.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like kind of like it's a martial arts kind of thing, like
Kind
the
of cute.
nunchucks. Anyway.
Tanya, what about you?
Mine's Dodge Toe Stlon.
Perfect.
Now, Darren Murphy, aka Timekeeper Series, has told me that I sound like maybe it's like a planet, maybe. Like that's where I'm from.
Well, there you go. Sure.
Dodge Toe Stlon.
That's what I'm gonna call you from now on.
To me, it sounds like a good name to cowboy up to.
Fights of dinosaurs. All right, Trip and Robin, what did you guys get?
Mine was Hopter Watcha.
Oh.
That's good.
That is
Yeah.
good.
Mine was Blara Doros.
Okay.
Good.
Bad.
Russell?
Isru Ducha.
Oh, that sounds very Star Wars-esque.
It's a very
That
Twi'lek
was-
name.
Said with some kind of an accent.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's see who else we got. Glenn?
Freckle Macat.
Ooh, freckles.
Good old Freckle Macat.
You sound like all the other characters you play, Glenn.
Yep.
Telling us something illegal.
On Twitter, Honky Tonk Buffalo just tweeted it. His Star Wars name is Griggle Harkole.
Nice.
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 And let's go to Andrew. Oh, sorry. Yes, Tanya, you got some other ones?
I got some Facebook ones, yeah, from Adriana Proser from Creating Cookies. Proad Piltor,
Yep.
interesting.
Very good.
Paul Renshaw, Renpa Martor. And Darren Murphy is actually kind of cool. Murda Barrock.
Nice.
That is pretty cool.
Like that's awesome.
All right, let's see
What
what
about
again.
this idea is what I want to know. They did a pretty good job figuring this out.
They did actually, because yeah, it's interesting how actually they actually do sound like the characters you would see in Star Wars.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew and Kate, what do you guys got?
I have Fogan Motar.
Nice.
I think it's pretty solid.
Mine is Walka Rodal.
Cool.
All right. Oh, and Anthony Davis. Sorry, our listener's mate says I like this one a lot. He's Davin Kotho. That's cool.
Yeah.
If I may, my best friend just texted me his. It's Wilpa Fifi.
Wait, isn't that his hooker name?
Maybe.
Oh, wait, he's an alien hooker, right?
There you go.
Alexander Martin tweets in, Glenn's name could have gone so wrong so quickly. All right, cool. So, again, folks, if you're watching the recorded version or listening to the podcast, please feel free to share your Star Wars names on our website, supergeekedup.com, or our Facebook page. We'd love to hear them. All right, it is, hey, let's do this. Let's take one last commercial break if you're watching the recorded version, and we'll be back for a second for Poems of Disney.
Go back! I tried dinosaurs, it's not working. Sorry.
You're the worst dinosaur impersonator ever.
I'm sorry, that was just not
We
happening.
were
I had
trying
to
to do
stop
like
that.
short T-Rex arms.
Oh my gosh, I can't. I guess I could have done like a pterodactyl. I'm like, ah!
That is much better, actually. I believe you as a pterodactyl. Anyway, we're back for a commercial break. That's what she was trying to do there, folks. This is Super Geeked Up. Thank you for joining us. By the way, Nicole, here's another idea to sneak into Disneyland that we were talking before the break. Honky Tonk Buffalo says, well, we haven't perfected that Harry Potter invisibility cloak yet, but if they did...
Absolutely.
That'll only work at Universal, though.
yes.
True.
Good plan. All right, Nicole, what is our last segment for these little
Okay.
zany ideas you come up with?
I know, it's so crazy. So we're going to do our poetry segment. The first time we ever did it was with for Liam Neeson, in tribute to Liam Neeson. So tonight it's going to be poems, an ode to Disney, just in tribute of their 60th anniversary of Disneyland, and also the opening of Tomorrowland. So we all just kind of prepared like a silly little poem, or serious. I'm not really quite sure what everyone prepared, but just kind of fun and just share our love and respect for Disney. So feel free to tweet in, like, if you have a little rhyme that you want to share about Disney, Disneyland, or just Disney in general.
Or you can go free verse like Tanya did, or haiku, whatever you want to do.
Absolutely.
No respect.
Oh, it doesn't have to be. I'm sorry. You're right. No, I never. No, it doesn't have to be respect for Disney. You're right. I didn't say that. It wasn't specific. So I don't know who wants to go first.
I don't want to go last.
Okay.
Oh, you always get stuck doing that.
Yeah.
And
I'll
then
go first.
somebody really amazing goes right before you all the
Yeah,
time.
I'm going to go first.
Okay, you
no
go
one
first.
amazing is going before me right now. Okay. All right, here we go. As Jeff mentioned, I did Freeverse. Is that what you call it? Okay, Freeverse. Mostly an excuse for why the pacing and rhyming may not actually match.
Doesn't have to.
I'm going to try. Ariel, Belle, and Aladdin you see, all childhood friends they be. From cheering on Simba to jeering at Ursula, Disney musicals were my start, the beginning of my love for my art. So thank you, Walt, for your vision. It's led me on my path and mission.
That rhymes.
Very
What are you
nice.
talking about?
Very
That's
good.
amazing. That's amazing.
2 a.m., folks. 2
That was
a.m.
good.
Very nice.
Nice.
Marcia McHale at The Always Geeky says, you guys are making me excited for my Disney dance Saturday. All right, there you go.
Woo. All right, who's next, Jeff?
Okay, sure. Simple AA rhyme scheme, folks. That's what I came up with. This is about a last time for Liam Neeson, I actually did a Shakespearean sonnet, but I didn't go quite
I was
as hardcore
actually
as that.
hoping you were going to do that.
I was trying to, but it wasn't happening this time. Okay, so this is about actually the Disney parks. This is what this poem is about, okay? So, a trip to Disney parks makes everyone cheer thanks to the magic of the Imagineers. In Epcot, you can tour a plethora of nations and even take a ride in a futuristic space station. On the 13th floor, a hotel had an error. Thus was born the Tower of Terror. To avoid It's a Small World getting stuck in your head, grab a fast pass and hit up Space Mountain instead. You'll even find Indiana Jones making quips, fighting snakes and Nazis with his trusty whip. The best of all is Star Tours The Ride, flying through the galaxy with R2 at your side. A day of Disney is like finding the Holy Grail. Just don't try to have sex on Winnie the Pooh ride or you'll end up in jail.
Oh, that's so funny, Jeff. Nice. Nice. Okay, who's next? Who's next, Brave?
I
So,
can
all
do it.
right, take it away.
So this is a very short piece of doggerel. Doesn't hold up to the standard set so far. And,
Well, I went first.
it's about Tomorrowland.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Towers high as a bird can soar, bathtubs falling through the floor. I'm not certain Dr. House had all the facts, but he inspired guilt for loving Mad Max.
Aww.
Nice.
That was good. All right,
All right.
who's next? Brave Soul Trip?
I will go
yes.
next.
Yes,
It's-
absolutely.
It is probably a haiku, and I counted it out, but we'll see if I actually get it right. Let's see. Eating all the food. Space Mountain, best ride ever. Sleep all the way home.
Yes.
Nice.
Disneyland experience. I eat everything there, go on Space Mountain, and then he drives me home while I sleep.
I like it. That's pretty much sounds identical to what my trips are usually like. All right, Scott, take the wheel. Just like fall asleep in the car. Absolutely.
Ice cream coma all the way home.
Exactly. Yes.
So I'll follow up with a haiku of my own, and I didn't do a haiku because I was lazy and ran out of time. I did a haiku because that's not the reason at all, clearly. But a haiku should talk about something, like a sublime experience or something that brings tranquility. So here we go.
Ice cream comas. That's sublime.
Here we go. Golden tube of dough, cinnamon sugar coated, perfect Disney snack.
Nice.
I call it
those
OG
ice cream
Churro.
cookies with the chocolate chips. Chocolate chip cookies with ice cream inside.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those are amazing.
Oh, those sound good. I've never had those there.
So good.
On Twitter, @HerWeirdness says, "Oh my, Jeff, I think he speaks from experience." Yes, I do, actually, Sasha, because my mom and my youngest sister are Disney fanatics, so I've been to Disney World a lot, and I have an awesome time every time. But yeah, so I do know the parks very well.
Trust me, he knows the parks really well.
Okay, Tanya.
Well,
We will trust you.
that was actually my first time in Disneyland, though, with you, actually. I'd never been to Disneyland before that time.
Yeah, but you just, like, you knew.
Well,
This
the
way,
Magic Kingdom's more or less set up the same, yeah.
That's funny. Okay, who's next?
I'll go ahead and
Glenn?
jump in.
Trip? Okay, Trip.
So this is a little love story to Disney, but it's also a little bit of tongue-in-cheek. But anyway,
Heyo.
I'll just jump into it. Heyo, what? All right. Dear Disney, I love you. You've been cranking out magical stories from your kingdom of imagination for many generations, and you've enchanted our childhoods and the child within. You bring great joy and even sadness to all our lives. And Brad Bird is one of your master storytellers. He's told amazing stories from The Simpsons Bartman, Iron Giants, Incredible Superhero Families, Jack Attacks, and Foodie Rats. But it seems you've been given a mission impossible, chasing a ghost audience, if you will, to battle against Mad Max and We're Back Pitches too. It seems Tomorrowland will be appreciated by most tomorrow, when perhaps people will get around to seeing it, including me. My apologies. But Mad Max is just so freaking amazing. Wishing you a bigger audience with your tale of mass destruction in 1906. Much love, Trip. Now, I haven't seen Tomorrowland. I'm sure I'm going to love it. But a lot of people that I've been talking to are going to see it tomorrow.
Yeah, no, they actually tweeted in while we were doing it. They only made $32 million. That's a bummer to hear that. They didn't make more. Man, it always happens, man. The sci-fi movies I love never make a lot of money, and that's why they're not gonna. We don't get those kind of movies.
Right. Yeah, and Perfect Pitch 2 blew everybody away, though. That was the biggest grossing musical opening weekend of all time.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Perfect 2?
It was over $70 million the opening weekend, and blew away Mad Max, that made about half of that. Yeah.
All right, let me share a Star Wars poem that Alexander Martin tweeted because of Disney. You know, Star Wars now, of course, so that's appropriate. I can show you the Force, Leia, Han, even Chewie. Tell me, fanboys, now when did you enjoy a non-original trilogy movie?
I like how he said, I can show you, like, as if he's going to say, I can show you the world.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was
yeah.
too.
Yeah, I like that.
I can show you the Force.
Yeah, it is. Leia, Han, even
Yeah.
Chewie. Tell
Yep.
me, fanboys, now when did you enjoy it?
Non-original trilogy movie.
Trilogy movie.
Nice.
It's like the carpet ride.
Nice. All right, who's up? Do you want me to go, or does someone else want to go?
Well, who's left? It's you
All
and
right.
Glenn? Is that who's left?
And
Robin.
Robin.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I'll go. I basically just based it off of Oh Captain, My Captain because I love that poem, but instead of making it sad, I made it happy about Disneyland, and I only just did the first stanza because I'm lazy. Okay, here we go. And also, it's kind of an O because I worked there, so that's kind of why it starts.
I love all the setup Nicole's providing to this to avoid
You know what?
reading.
I didn't even need to do a setup, honestly. Okay, here I go.
Just give us the poem.
Okay, poem. Oh, Mickey,
Free
my
bird.
lead. All right, fine. Okay, here we go. Oh, Mickey, my leader, this adventure far from done. The rides, the shows, the far-off lands, all our hearts you've won. The lines are long, the weather hot, but all the people cheering. Follow the gaze of all the eyes to see you and Minnie nearing. Oh, yay, 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 for all the gates you've come to open. On this day, for 24 hours, we celebrate 60 years of awesome.
Very nice.
Oh,
I like it.
All right,
So
who's
innocent.
next? What's that?
you're so innocent.
That's Nicole in a word.
Typical Nicole. Let's see. Glenn, Robin, who wants to go?
I should go because Robin's dead on a high note.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no. Oh, okay, go.
I made blinky lights. The colors of magic are great. So many long nights alone.
Yay! Flynn's dark place at Disney.
There's no windows.
Magic.
Aw. Aw. All right. Okay,
All right.
Robin.
So I pulled mine from a classic. A poet I am not. Roses are red. Violets are blue. The land of Disney turned 60. I just love it, don't you?
Yeah. All right, great way to end it.
Nice.
All right, awesome poems, everybody. We're releasing our poetry beat album soon. All right, so before we get out of here, one more time, guys, why don't you tell people where they can watch League of S.T.E.A.M?
LeagueofS.T.E.A.M.com or YouTube/League of S.T.E.A.M.
YouTube.com. Yeah, YouTube.com/League of S.T.E.A.M.
Yep.
All right.
League of S.T.E.A.M. and something will come up with us on it.
All right, cool. Easy enough. Yeah, so that you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, right? All those awesome places. Follow, like, all that stuff. Please. Yes.
We just started Periscoping too, which has been a lot of fun.
Ooh.
So follow us on Periscope.
All right. And folks, if you haven't, for some reason, please follow us at Super Geeked Up on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. We're at Super Geeked Up Live. And please check out our website. We're posting geeky stuff. You know, we like to hear your comments, all that good stuff on supergeekedup.com, which is where you can find all our past episodes, too. Go watch all 134 of them if you haven't. That just sets your whole summer right there. You don't even need to watch any summer blockbusters. Just watch us.
Right.
Except Tomorrowland. Watch Tomorrowland, and then go watch us.
Nice.
All right, so yeah, I guess that's going to wrap us up. So yeah, thank you so much for everybody from League of S.T.E.A.M. You guys were super fun. Really appreciate you coming on. Thank you for everyone who tweeted live and watches live. You guys are awesome. And if you're watching the recorded version, you're listening to the podcast, we really appreciate it. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, of course, Super Geeked Up. We'll be back next Wednesday, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Pacific for some more geeky fun. Thanks so much, everybody. Remember, stay geeky. See you next week.
Bye.